this session. Yes. So thank you again and welcome everyone for attending today's event. And what initially started as an idea turned into a community of talented individuals who showcase their unique passions for cooking. And this event would not be possible without your participation. And as we are very much excited to share their journeys as a kickoff for our very first Nama Chats. And I am sure that you'll learn a tip or two and be inspired by how they each started. And that in remembering that it takes a community to raise a child. And now then, make yourselves comfortable, free, and enjoy as we begin today's session.
Thank you so much, Eldrin Lee, for a warm and truly engaging welcome remarks. I am excited to kickstart this event, and hopefully, our participants can get a fresh ideas and also inspiration from our panelists today. So I think the room needs a little bit of energy. So to spice up our afternoon, I have prepared some icebreaker for us. So, who's familiar with the logo quiz game? Nice. So the mechanics are very simple. I will show you a picture of the logo. And then you can type your answer on the Zoom chat box. Gets? Okay? Ayan. So, all right, let's begin. So, type nyo lang yung answers nyo sa chat box dito sa Zoom room natin. Ayan. Question 1, you might go here for a sandwich. What can you guess the logo? Correct, Subway. Next question. That's correct. It's Subway. Next, it is best known for say cheese. What logo is this? Correct, Kimber. It's Kraft or Kraft Foods. Ayan. Next question. You see it everywhere in the kitchen. What logo is this? All right. Is it Del Monte? Yes, correct. Thanks, Kim. Next question. So the company of yung para kanino ka bumabangon sa umaga. What logo is this? Correct, it's Nestle. Yan. Last question for our icebreaker. So it's your best friend every morning and when you need it. Can you guess it? Correct. It's gardenia. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for participating in our icebreaker session. Now, Eldrin, the floor is yours.
So who felt energized or a bit energized after that game? So definitely we'll get more energized later on as we engage with our panelists. And now today's event, as we've encountered, is called How to Start Your Cooking Journey. So we aim to share the tips and the cooking techniques to people and how they would like to kickstart their journey from topics on cooking, healthy living, fitness, in order to aim for that healthy lifestyle so that we can be ready para sa next summer or we can stay fit while staying indoors during lockdown. And now then, I am pleased to introduce to you our esteemed panelists to share their cooking journey and how they made their leaps in their healthy lifestyles. So, Adriel, hello. Kamusta naman ang ang panahon natin diyan?
Okay naman.
I
Ano lang, steady lang.
So yeah, I was wondering how you got started or how you got interested in cooking?
So actually, my interest in cooking started with Ratatouille. I'm sure you're all familiar with that Pixar film. Pero my initial interest was quite superficial. It just seemed cool that time. And I guess the spirit of Remy took over, which inspired me to create my first dish, thinking I could make an amazing dish after just watching the movie. I made some kind of onion soup that time, and I'll say that to describe the dish as merely disgusting is a bold understatement. After my first cooking experience, I thought I would never look back, thinking that cooking is an innate talent gifted upon individuals. It was until my second year in college when I actually stumbled upon the grand finale of MasterChef Australia, Season 8, in which I experienced a newfound love for cooking. It featured uh, it featured a world-renowned chef named Heston Blumenthal in his dish Verjus in egg, which looks like a simple egg dish, but the recipe was very complex. You see, Heston is one of the pioneers of molecular gastronomy, wherein food is understood in a scientific perspective. That was when I realized that food is something that could be learned and practiced. Also, a realization, which is honestly very appealing to me as a science enthusiast, that cooking can be dissected through scientific principles. Before we proceed to the next slide, may I ask if I can be heard or uh, so why sweets and pastries? Honestly, I never thought I would delve into the world of desserts. Personally, I don't eat much sweets anymore, or at least I avoid it most of the time because I can easily lose control. I believe what appealed to me the most is the intricacy of the delicate pastries and cakes and how profound the techniques can be. I suppose it all started with my interest in chocolates. And just a fun fact that I want to share with everyone. Did you know that chocolate, or rather the cocoa butter, the fats that make up the chocolate, can actually crystallize into 5 different states? So from the tempering and using these chocolates to the processing of how they get into our bags that we buy in the first place really inspired me to pursue pastry arts. And I personally believe that cooking is not just about me or the one crafting the dish, but seeing other people enjoy your food is what makes the process more fulfilling and rewarding. Next slide. So Konpon is what came to be out of my passion for pastries. I chose to specialize in French pastries because of its beauty and heart of taking the simplest ingredients and transforming them into something magical merely through technique. My trip to Japan inspired me to open a small online patisserie after witnessing how heavily influenced Japan's desserts are by French cuisine. As someone who already loves the flavors of Japanese cuisine, I have to say the next steps were quite predictable. Hence the birth of Konpon Patisserie, an online French-Japanese patisserie. The name Konpon is actually a Japanese word, which literally translates to foundation, and it rings true to my personal cooking style and mindset when it comes to crafting recipes. It is understanding the fundamentals, the ingredients, and bringing out the best in them through various techniques. So currently, you may know me or see me posting pictures promoting Nama. So being a Nama ambassador, so for me, desserts are more than mere sweets. Honestly, I kind of dislike the idea that just because something is sweet can already be considered as a dessert or overloading something with sugar and fats. Personally, I believe that desserts are special given the fact that they are the last to leave an impression to the customers. So from the appearance, sound, taste, texture, and the overall experience is what makes the dessert, not just the dish. So what does Nama have to do with it? Personally, I love a challenge. So to incorporate microgreens, which are loaded with nutrients, and transform desserts into something more healthy and delicious. which can be enjoyed by all, is definitely a worthwhile pursuit, daunting as it may be. Thank you.
All right. So, hello. My name is Hinson Orr, and I am a healthy lifestyle and fitness enthusiast. So, okay. So, to start things off, I just want to show a quick background of my actual fitness journey. I grew up actually being overweight or obese, and then a few months after, I became underweight. So, I got into like a starvation mode. I was eating like I think a pack of gummy bears per day, which is like really bad. And then afterward, yun na, parang I had some like body dysmorphia and I felt like I was too skinny. So I started eating so much and I became back to becoming overweight. And a few years later, I'm now enjoying living a healthier lifestyle and keeping fit. So I will show you how food actually played a major role in my whole fitness journey in hopes that you can learn something a little bit from this. So I'm 9 years currently living the happy and healthier lifestyle. So next slide. There. So let's talk about food. What I used to eat. So where I actually drew inspiration from cooking was ever since I was a little boy. I'd say around maybe even 5 or 6 years old. I loved watching my mom cook us food. So I had no idea at the time food had calories or energy. I'm sure a lot of us didn't know that before. So the good old days na parang, everything's just food. And then I'd go home every day. It started off with buttered bread, making Milo with a lot of Milo powder, yung parang three big scoops. And I thought that was cooking at that time. So yun, parang it started there. And I was so, parang natutuwa ako. Anything my mom cooks or makes, I like to listen and follow along. So next. Ayun, and then of course, from the unhealthy eating habits and cooking, I became again obese nga, lots of body fat, really heavy, and it was really unhealthy, right? It's more than just an aesthetic concern. It's really more important to know that it wasn't healthy for your internal health. So for this one, I thought that being fit was had to be boring. I'm sure all of us narinig natin to, bawal magkanin, bawal magbread, bawal magnoodles or whatever. And people who've actually met me before, they've seen me go through this like boiled potatoes, boiled chicken breast, boiled okra. So boring and um, it's terrible, really. Like honestly, nakakaiyak siya. So it's not, part of doing this thing, it's not healthy, right? Part of being healthy or eating healthy or living healthy is being happy, enjoying your body, and incorporating foods you enjoy so you can sustain it. So later on in my life, next slide, I now learned that being healthy means it has to be enjoyable and sustainable. So that's also partly why you see me here with the NAMA team and being an ambassador for them is because I super agree with how they like to express their healthy living, right? They show us how we can eat microgreens, we can eat healthy foods, incorporate vegetables, etc. in our daily eating, which can be delicious and something we can do for the rest of our lives. So there.
All right. So actually, thank you so much, Edriel and Hinson, for sharing your inspiring stories to our guests. And actually, the reason for this event is to have a deeper understanding in starting your own cooking journey. So, from the point of view of a home cook or someone who loves to cook or someone who likes to experiment with ingredients, tulad ng sinabi ni Hinson about um, yung without prior knowledge of the calories and so on. So I would love to open this floor with some questions we have gathered from our audience. So you have already shared your inspirations in cooking. So now my question is, what is the most important mindset should a cook have? So anyone can answer this. one of you can feel free to answer or ano, ayun. That's for question number one.
So I'll go first na lang.
Okay, sige, sige.
so what is the most important mindset should a cook have? For me, one is to um acknowledge the fact that every ingredient tastes different. It's we always whenever we follow recipes, we are always keen on the exact quantities. Like I recall whenever my mom would ask me, how much should we put of this? How much should we put of this ingredient, no? And I think it's important to actually acknowledge na even if we follow recipes exactly to the T, it won't come out exactly the same because every ingredient nga, as I said, tastes different. Whether it be calamansi, which comes from the same tree, you can never have the same acidity of that calamansi. So for me, it was always important to keep on tasting when possible lah. Kasi baka naman hinalo niyo sa surumi tapos kinain niyo. So that's a big no-no. Food safety tayo. And so yun, I'm just saying na possible no, whether kahit yung calamansi, it comes from the same tree, yung acidity levels niya wouldn't be the same. And I guess second important mindset is kailangan we need to understand the fundamentals. Because as you go along with your cooking, you will easily recognize how recipes are much alike, no? Or very similar in nature. And from understanding the fundamentals, like why we do this step, why we add this first before adding this, we can actually reach that thought process wherein we can actually conceptualize recipes on our own, given that we know these concepts, we know the techniques behind why we do this, yeah, the rationale rather.
So for me,
Okay.
I actually have like I have 3 points for that in the mindset. So my first one is I super agree with Adriel with the fundamentals of cooking. So actually the foods we come to enjoy the most, they're sometimes the simplest of things, right? They're just done through like basic techniques. Simply like a fried egg, if you do it right, it could taste so much different than an overcooked egg, right? So learning the fundamentals or the simplicity of cooking is really important. Number two is going to be to understand that there are no rules in the kitchen. So regardless of what you want to cook, you can experiment, like what you said, you can experiment with anything you want. It doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to find something you enjoy, find something you like doing, which brings me to my third mindset is to have fun with it. So there are no rules. You know your basic techniques. You know how to keep safe when you're cooking. It's to really just have fun with how you cook so that it's something that you will enjoy and it won't be really a chore for you. So that's it.
I really like your dedication, guys, when it comes to cooking, and I'm sure you've already practiced and lived up to your crafts. So our next question is, what are some advices you would like to say to people who want to start their cooking in the kitchen but they don't know how? So would you mind anyone going first?
Sige. Sige, ako na lang. Ako na lang. Nagkasabay nga ako ni Hinson. So, I think first, I started with this eh. I would choose a recipe or pick a recipe na I'm actually interested in. Like whenever I watched MasterChef Australia, because I watched various seasons na eh. So, whenever I saw a dish there, I would be like, oh, I want to try making this dish. So that's what I did. But I think what most people forget or what is the most important part after that, after following the recipe, is actually understanding what each component or ingredient does. That's that's what's always lacking eh. So when we neglect that part, when we fail to understand or to actually analyze what each ingredient or what each step does for the food, we don't learn. And that's a big no-no because we know that we want cooking to be a learning process. And whenever we make new recipes, we want it to be something that compounds to our knowledge, not our existing knowledge. So we need to understand what each component or ingredient does and why is the addition of the ingredients done in such an order. So actually, gusto ko rin mag-illustrate for this, no? Um, para ano niya lang rin yung crucial, um, yung pagka-crucial ng technique. So, actually, kapag binigyan mo ko ng four ingredients, like for instance, eggs, butter, flour, saka sugar, actually you can make eggs through four different, eggs today. You can make cakes through four different methods. Pero syempre varying quantities yun. So yung first method na naiisip ko, you can do yung crumbing method or the reverse method, wherein yung flour and butter mo or yung dry ingredients mo, you're cutting butter in, then you put the eggs or the liquids. Hello, nandiyan mo. Tapos nun, yung next method na naisip ko is pwede rin yung parang tinatawag kong yung tinatawag kong parang sponge cake method.
I think they're disconnected. Both of them. Is it?
Okay, I think so. I actually thought I was the one that was laughing.
Okay. So I think that's ask the same question to you, Pinson.
Okay, so for me naman actually, yung advice ko for people who want to start cooking but don't know how is to, if you have someone in your household who's cooking for you, or let's say if you have a parent at home or anyone really cooking, I'd say observe how they cook it, how they cook their food, what they do. Then, yeah, like what Edwin asked, like why they do it. Like, bakit piniprito yung garlic first? Maybe, or why did they fry the onion? Like that. Or you can also just watch your favorite cooking show. From there, really, it's I personally find it very fun to see how the cooking process goes. And from there, it should really help how you cook later on when you try it out yourself.
All right, thanks, Hinson. I guess Eldrin and Adriel's not here. So let's go to the third question. If you were asked to reduce
Wala
fat
pala
and
ako, sorry.
sodium. Okay. So let's go back to your ano ba? Your part, Adriel. Sige, before we proceed to the next question. Sige,
Saan ba ako
continue.
naputol? Saan ba ako naputol?
I think dun sa part ng yung four main ingredient. And the
Some
different
part
techniques.
now. Well, I think yes. So, yeah, I wanted to say lang sana na kunyari, you had eggs, butter, flour, and sugar. You can actually make a variety of cakes na. Like yung tipong crumbly cake, but different yung techniques niya. And how to achieve that. So, I just want to illustrate that. So, for instance, yun nga sinasabi ko sa flour, butter, eggs, and sugar. So, you can do the crumbing method. So, yung crumbing method, yung dry ingredients minimix mo, then you cut in the butter before you add in the wet ingredients. In this case, the eggs. So the next route that you can actually go when it comes to cake making is what I would like to call the sponge cake method. So you take the whole eggs and then aerate them with sugar. Then afterwards, you fold in the flour, then you fold in the fat. Next route, you can actually take the separation of eggs. Like you separate the egg whites and the egg yolks, then you aerate the egg yolks and you aerate the egg whites. Then you fold in the dry ingredients, alternating in between the two. Then the last method which I can think of is yung ano to? Yung creaming the butter. So you cream the butter, like you mix the butter and the sugar, then through that you can create air bubbles before mixing in the egg, then mixing it to flour. So as you can see, no, from our just four ingredients, you can actually take different routes, no, into achieving your delicious cake. So that's how crucial technique is. That's how crucial understanding the fundamentals are, and that's what understanding what each ingredient does when it comes to conceptualizing dishes. That's for me. In lang naman. Thank you.
Okay, so actually, ano no, maganda yung na-mention niya about that each ingredient is different. Tapos sinahighlight na functions. Tapos what every ingredient has a role. So actually, this is an interesting question. It goes where in order to reduce fat and sodium in a menu, what would you do to maintain its flavor in the quality of the dish? So, interesting question siya kasi we always strive for the balances as you mentioned before. So feel free to agree a little.
Okay, so for me, actually I like this a lot because it's part of cutting calories, right, in your dish, or part of making it healthier if you want. So we all know, as people who enjoy cooking or eating, we know that fat is flavor. Usually pag may butter or oil, sobrang sarap ng dish automatically. So what I learned to do is, yung first one is you have to be conscious of oil, the oil you use or the butter you use. Sometimes a little goes a long way. Like if you want to brown your garlic and onions, you don't need to put like 5 tablespoons of oil. It could be done with just 1 tablespoon. So yeah, being conscious of the quantity is already a good step into reducing the overall fat of the dish. Now, you I wouldn't even suggest cutting it out completely kasi nga it will taste not as good as it should, or mamasira pa yung pan niyo since walang fat source. As for the sodium, and basically the overall flavor of the dish. So this really brings back to the point of the why we do these things. So example, if you just eat like onions, raw onions chopped up, and tomatoes and chicken, it would taste like bland, right? It would just taste like chicken, tomatoes, and onions. But if you actually did the technique of like browning the onions or caramelizing it, having the tomatoes soften up and release their sweetness, then when you pour that on top of your chicken breast, you're gonna suddenly get this whole dimension of flavor of like extra sweetness to it, and you didn't even add anything extra to the dish, right? You didn't add any more extra oil or excess salt or anything like that. So yeah, be conscious of it and find the techniques on like on the ingredients you enjoy, like browning them and stuff like that.
So actually super agree with Orno. So aside from of course sourcing yung best possible ingredients that you can get, that's of course crucial then, no? Of course, if you source the best possible ingredients, you also make the best possible dish. But aside from that, no, we can actually focus on technique rin, as Or mentioned. So for instance, to illustrate lang yung concept, no, so kunwari meron akong chicken bones, tapos and I just boil them, versus yung chicken bones, ika-caramelize ko muna in small amounts of oil, like i-brown ko muna siya before adding water. That creates such a huge difference na. Kasi what we do with cooking kasi, we actually compound the flavor. Yun lang natin sinasabi. Like, kaya kadalasan ginagawa is we season it every step of the way. And of course, important rin, since we are focusing on technique na rin, we need to understand the ingredients. So for instance, no, spices. So we often think na, okay, when I'm boiling a stock, lagay ko lang yung spices, okay na, it will infuse. That is true. However, we can take it further. So for instance, yung sauteing step, we can actually add the spices kasi kadalasan yung mga aromatics ng spices and their flavors can actually be are actually oil soluble and can be extracted through the oil. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar kung how they do the Thai curries. I think you can also see it in the grocery stores, like the pre-packaged curry pastes. So there is a difference, no, when it comes to just adding that to boiling water versus, let's say, sauteing that paste first, waiting for the oils to separate and the spices to actually be caramelized, no, and to build up flavor before adding water or your stock. So, yun lang, to reiterate, it's very important to focus on the technique. So, caramelization, order of adding ingredients, and of course, yung sourcing of the freshest ingredients or the best ingredients that you can get.
Actually, for our next question, so you guys have emphasized yung roots and yung foundations and the ingredients. But then our next question is sa how do you conceptualize yung mga dishes that you cook? So medyo mag-backtrack tayo a bit. Where do you usually get your inspirations from? And I think medyo similar din dito yung question ni Luis, where ano, yung was there a time before where you wanted to stop because things got too complicated as a beginner, and how did you overcome it? So I guess there's a medyo multifaceted na question na to. So yeah, feel free to go ahead.
Okay, so I'll start. I'll start on this one. So, the conceptualizing of the dishes I cook. I'll answer first yung question ni Luis because I think it also relates to this one. Like, was there any time you wanted to stop because things got too complicated for a beginner? So first off, when I started, I would just say talaga the biggest concern is really just the safety thing. Like, just know how to work your gas stove. That's probably like one of the most important first steps to do. Things for me at least, it never got too complicated since I always tried to how do you say this? Like, follow what I've already seen been cooked. Like if I saw my mom cook like a fried pork dish or something like that, I would just follow along. And home cooking in essence is really not that complicated. It's really about like the fundamentals, techniques, and the simplicity of it all. So, but I can relate this question to being too complicated when you're busy. So if you're really busy, you have work all the time, it's hard to make a dish that takes too long. So during those times, you can really get demotivated in cooking because you don't have enough time as you used to. There might not be as much drive and passion for it. So when these things happen, actually there are times that you really feel like, ay, mag-take out na lang ako or I'll just order kasi hassle. But that's why I always like to focus on keeping things simple, keeping things fresh, so that you can still cook foods you enjoy. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as possible, and you can always find time for it. If you dedicate a small portion of your day to it, it shouldn't take too long. So that's also how I conceptualize the dishes I cook. Being someone who's on the go, I always like to keep things as simple as possible and keep the cooking times to as minimal as I can make it, so that it's healthy, it's fast, and I don't get demotivated ever from creating foods I enjoy daily.
So baliktad kami or kung siya gusto niya pinapadali yung buhay, ako gusto ko pinapahirapan. Hindi, joke lang, joke lang. So, when it comes to, i-answer ko muna yung question ni Luis, tama ba? Luis, na was there ever a time that you wanted to stop because things got too complicated for a beginner? So, to answer that question, hindi na, I guess yun din, similar to or na I stopped rin. Kasi for instance, like right now, si Konpon medyo hiatus. Because one, medyo busy pa ako. Kasi preparing for graduate school. Pero, I guess, yun din, similar to or na I stopped rin. Kasi for instance, right now, si Konpon medyo hiatus. Because one, medyo busy pa ako. Kasi preparing for graduate school. Pero, I guess, yun din, similar to or na I stopped rin. Kasi preparing for graduate school. Pero, At the same time, marami rin mga other factors na nangyari. So anyways, I guess in terms of complicated, ang marirelate ko dito experience is the time na gumawa ako ng French macarons. Actually, kasi when I saw French macarons first being made in MasterChef Australia. Then when I tried it the first time, I got it right naman. Which is, di ba, surprising, di ba? Uy, ano nakuha mo kagad the first time? But, when I made it the second time, kasi nung time na naplano ko na magbenta, bigla na lang, hala, bakit ganito na? Bakit hindi na nagsiset yung skin? Bakit hindi na siya nagkakaroon ng fit? So, tapos bakit na siya nagka-crack? So, doon nagkaroon ng many problems, no? So, from that part, parang let's say, I backtrack. Kasi anong nangyari, nakuha ko yung final product na gusto ko, pero I don't know what happened in the process. So yun, from there, inaral ko what each ingredient does. So for example, kasi si French macaron, ang component niya lang naman sa shell, yung uh, basically egg whites, saka caster sugar, gagawa ka ng meringue before folding in the almond flour, saka powdered sugar. If I'm not mistaken, yun lang talaga siya. So talagang basis talaga niya is technique, no? So if you do something wrong, magiging halata talaga siya sa end product mo. Kasi yun lang yung ingredients mo eh. So yun, inaral ko what each ingredient does, no? Alin yung nagbibigay kahit paano ng structure, ano yung nagagawa ng meringue, how much sugar should you add to the meringue para hindi siya sobrang tamis, but stable pa rin siya. So, yun, I would suggest na, kunyari, when things become too complicated, don't be discouraged. Pero, I mean, we are humans, no? So, we can always emote naman after a failed dish. May time pa nga umiyak ako dahil nawasak yung pie crust eh. Kasi gumawa ako before ng pie crust for apple pie. Tapos umiyak talaga ako kasi sabi ko, bakit, sorry. Sabi ko, bakit siya nag-break? So, yun talaga. I backtrack, no, kung bakit. So, it's all about understanding eh, kung bakit nangyayari itong mga bagay na to. Tapos, what can you do to avoid it the next time? And of course, we need to recognize rin, no, yung facts na paminsan talaga, some things can be achieved, but some things cannot. What I mean is, for instance, gusto ko mag-temper ng chocolate. Tapos nun, pero sobrang init sa Philippines. So, mahirap, humid na nga sa Philippines, tapos nun, mainit pa. So, kapag hindi ka na sa air-conditioned room, kasi unregulated yung humidity and temperature, it will be very hard, if not impossible, to actually temper your chocolate. Unless gagawa mo ng ice bath, for instance. Pero mahirap rin yun kasi may liquid contact with chocolates, which gusto mo i-avoid. So, yun, before I get to those things, no, yes, there are times talaga na mag-fail ka. And it's okay to emote kasi we are humans, no. Pero don't let that stop you. Always look back, always see, no, what each ingredient does and why they do these steps. Kasi actually, it kind of irks me rin whenever I see yung mga paminsan cooking videos. Medyo marami rin kasing cooking videos na lumalabas eh, sa web eh. For instance, sa Facebook feed pa lang sobrang dami na eh. Pero there are times na parang titignan mo, bakit yung ginagawa itong step na to? It doesn't make sense. So yun, kaya it's important rin, no? Para at least, kahit pa paano, whenever you view recipes, you can actually fact check it kung may sense ba or wala. So yun. So yun. So overcoming part, yun talaga. Don't be discouraged. Just backtrack. Tignan mo lang ulit yung ingredients. Tignan mo lang ulit yung recipe. And of course, ito yung madalas ko rin ginagawa. Compare different recipes or different varieties of the same dish na gusto mo gawin. Tapos from there, you make your own. Or rather, parang take kung ano yung may mga sense, no, from these recipes. Tapos from there, i-amalgamate mo or i-combine mo sila. Parang gano'n. Yung best features of each. So, going back to the conceptualizing the dishes that I cook, actually, paminsan yung creative thoughts ko, bigla na lang siya nagsispring out of nowhere. Like, for instance, sa Japan, di ba? Like, when we were walking along Arashiyama, tapos I saw the maple leaves. Tapos when I went back home, then I saw like maple flavored tea. Sabi ko, I can make maple flavored macarons in remembrance of that time. So sometimes when I conceptualize dishes, it can be because of a memory I associate with it. Some place I've been to, flavors I've tasted before. Like for instance, huge food lover din kasi ako. So, kunyari may natikman akong dish na parang, oh, this is inspiring how they treated the meat, no, with such respect, or how they treated the ingredients with such respect. So, I take those with me. And next time in my cooking, sabi ko, baka pwede ko siya gawin. Not necessarily gayahin, no? But since alam naman natin na as much as possible, ayaw talaga natin na gaya-gaya. Pero it's more on, tinitake mo yung inspiration, no, from it. Like yung concept, yung brilliance ng concept yan. Tapos yun, interpreting it to your own understanding or subjecting it to your own interpretation. So yun yung for me. So paminsan din, random ingredients that inspire me, events or prior experiences. Yun lang naman.
Okay, that's wonderful. Ramdam na ramdam talaga natin yung yung emosyon ni Adriel nung time na nag-ano siya ng pie crust. So, and actually during these times then it's been yun, in the middle of the pandemic, medyo challenging yung itong times for our business and even staying healthy. So, there's a question here from Lumina Rosel. And she asked na parang how can we boost yung sales natin during this time of pandemic? I get to reframe this question maybe because parang paano tayo mas mapakain ng healthier food or something na binibenta ni Lumina. So, would you guys, so for example, ikaw, Adriel, regarding sa Conpon, um, is there a way na we can encourage people eating healthier itong time of the pandemic or even hinson?
So the question is again, how can you is it boost yung sales ng healthy cooking? Parang ganun yung question.
Yes, during the pandemic. But then not all of us tend to not all of us tend to sell. Like kasi medyo
Yeah.
nauso ngayon yung mga baking, like bake
Online
sushi
selling.
and
Oh,
so
that's
on.
true. That's
Yung
true.
mga pandesal, ganun. So, ayun, baka baka you have any points of advice for Lumina?
Okay. So for me naman, when it comes to the sales thing, I'm sure not everyone does that, but yung sales part kasi I think that's more of a marketing thing also. But if it's in terms of like yung promoting healthy food during the pandemic, I think now more than ever it's really important to I guess incorporate that as part of what you say to your audience. Kasi it's really there's scientific evidence, not just me talking or everyone just talking, that if you actually eat healthier and live a healthier lifestyle, it really does help you to the best it can, right? It's like your first defense system. Your body is your first defense system, and taking care of it, not just with exercise or living healthier, but also eating healthier foods, getting your micronutrients, getting your vegetables, your vitamins, stuff like these. I think now more than ever should be, like spewed more to the public. Kasi parang it's always a short-term solution. It's always like do this, do that. When actually, it's not promoted enough that if you really take care of your body, if you really value what you eat and how you use your body, it's actually going to be beneficial for your overall lifestyle, not just physically, mentally as well even. So that's all I can say about the topic on that.
So, ano yun yung boosting sales or parang encouraging people to eat more healthy? Pero pwede ko rin naman answerin yung boosting sales to the best that I can. So actually kasi, rinig naman ako, no?
Promote yung people eating.
Okay. So, yun dun muna tayo sa, sige, dun sa boosting sales. Yung Actually, feel ko I'm not the best person to ask. Kasi paminsan kasi when I release products, no, medyo stubborn ako-ish in a way na when I create something new, I just want to push it. Like, when I create something new, I just want to push it. Tapos, and then just sell it and then see if people would actually love and appreciate my art. Kasi I treat my cooking as my art, as my form of expression. So, yun yung for me. So, for me, whenever you cook, no, and put your heart into it, you're actually part of a certain niche, a growing niche that can't be taken away from you. Because each of us as cooks, no, have different interpretations of things and have different interpretations of ingredients and how we want to express ourselves. So I think it's important first that you recognize that no matter if you're doing some individuality as a person, as a cook, as a chef. So regarding that, I would say it's best to actually capitalize on your individuality. And in my case, I didn't start selling immediately kasi when I first started kasi I was just happy no to actually share my cooking journey, and I was actually surprised no that people were actually following my cooking journey as well, like from these lackluster dishes tapos nun yung nag-i-improve na, and I see na natutuwa rin sila when they see how much I've improved from that person who just started cooking. And it has been a long time that na build yung, I guess, quote unquote name. I wouldn't consider name kasi hindi naman ako sobrang sikat no. Pero yung name ko when it comes to cooking, or yung credibility rather when it comes to cooking, kasi they saw it, they witnessed it. So I guess what you can do then is to actually showcase to people where you started, how much you've improved, and to keep in contact with them. Kasi after all, they are your best supporters. Diba? Especially yung mga people who love you and care about you. They will be your best supporters when it comes to these. So when it comes to healthy cooking naman, or rather buying more healthy food, boosting sales, um, I suppose it kinda is because hindi hindi ganun ka-informed yung mga tao when it comes to eating healthy. Like, ano ba yung benefits niya, tsaka ano yung mga dapat kainin, tsaka dapat hindi. Kasi for instance, like we know na vegetables healthy, pero we forget na we don't understand kung bakit we need to eat 5 servings of vegetables per day. So, yung mga ganong questions, like for instance, okay lang ba puro gulay ako tapos i-eliminate ko lahat ng proteins ko? Okay lang ba puro proteins ako tapos aalisin ko lahat ng gulay? Aalisin ko yung carbohydrates? So, yun. I guess, important talaga yung knowledge. And of course, alam naman natin na iba-iba talaga yung katawan natin. Iba-iba rin tayo ng lifestyles, iba-iba rin tayo dapat ng diet. Iba-iba rin tayo ng body types, no? So, if you can, best talaga to actually consult nutritionists or doctors or health professionals. Kasi meron talagang drastic effects po minsan yung mga nagagawa natin diet. So, gusto ko na magbigay ng example na personally na na-experience ko. So, may time rin kasi, actually hanggang ngayon naman, na nagme-maintain ako ng certain muscle build. So, may time kasi talaga na I'm halos ini-eliminate ko pala talaga yung carbohydrates ko tapos yung boosting my proteins to actually compensate for the calories. Pero there was a time when I witnessed na bakit parang yung sweat ko amoy ammonia. So that is bad, no? Kasi alam mo agad na parang, uy, parang something's wrong. So, syempre, I looked more into it. Tapos nung nababasa ko, sabi ko, ay, shocks yung ano pala, kaya pala nagsasmell ng ammonia. Kasi ibig sabihin nun, yung kidneys mo pala, hindi niya na pala ma-expel yung excess amount of waste. So, anong nangyari? Na-expel na siya through your sweat. Tapos nun, ang problem din daw when it comes to eating too much proteins, no, as your main calorie source. Kasi di ba we know carbohydrates are yung immediate source of energy natin. So si proteins daw, kailangan pa daw siya i-break down sa liver bago daw siya magamit in terms of your in terms of yung energy intake mo. So that is bad rin when you eat too much proteins kasi ang mangyayari, mo overwork rin yung liver mo and can cause long-term health problems. So that's just something to illustrate na yung importance talaga understanding your own body and possibly rin consulting mga health professionals when it comes to regulating your diets. Yan. Yun lang naman.
Okay, great. I'm sure na marami natutunan yung mga audiences natin on how our body works. And at the same time, yung na-mention mo kanina about yung family natin as our biggest supporters. So may question dito si Joe regarding sa what is your, so going back again dun sa cooking journey natin kanina, ano yung mga biggest regrets nyo during your cooking careers? So it might be possible no nag-start kayo or habang ngayon or during the process. Your biggest regrets sa inyong cooking careers.
Ako never pa ako nag-try gumawa ng pie crust, so wala pa akong regret. The joke lang. Yung sa biggest regret in the cooking career. So I guess again very different kami ni Edriel dito since Edriel actually sells yung cooking niya. No? So yung cooking career ko is I'm guessing yung personal lifestyle kind of cooking ko. Actually, yung one key principle ko in my cooking is that I use whatever I have available. So whatever's in the kitchen lang yung ginagamit ko for when I cook. So I never really feel any feeling of regret in terms of yung ingredients since I just use what I have. Usually I don't overspend for it. And I guess yung what I can say lang yung biggest regret ko is the times na nagpapakulo ako ng let's say adobo or something like that. And iniiwan ko to while doing something else and pag binalikan mo, sunog na yung bottom, 'di ba? Yung pan nyo may crust na ng black and then nagagalit pa yung parents mo or whoever's in your house. So, yun yung probably biggest regret when it comes to cooking is to monitor your food, okay? Watch it because really it's about respecting your ingredients as well, right? Even if you already have it available, even if it's just there, these products, these onions, this rice, they're not just like there. It was worked for, so you have to show it equal respect. And well, don't waste your food, right? So treat it with respect. Watch what you're cooking. Make sure you value each ingredient, and don't waste your food. So I would say that's my only biggest regret in cooking is the times na accident waste ko yung food kasi di na consumable.
I guess yung biggest regret ko is actually not knowing myself well enough muna bago investing in equipment. Kasi may times kasi na when I first started actually, bago ako napasok sa pastries, hindi ko na lang siya kinawento kanina. Bago kasi ako na-start sa pastries, I wanted to pursue noodles. Kasi noodles kasi talaga, gusto ko talaga siya kainin. Whether it be instant, whether it be ramen, soba, o kaya Chinese mommy. Regardless, pag noodles, soda ko. Pero may times na, I guess parang na-realize ko when I was making it, it's just not as, it just doesn't feel as good when I'm eating it. So, sabi ko, okay, parang I guess this is not for me. Tapos nun, yun, syempre, equipment yun, investment yun. Tapos nun, may times na actually bumili pa ako ng soba board sa Japan. So, may soba board yun, tapos may special kneading, ano pa siya, tapos yung special knife pa to actually cut the noodles. Pero after a while, parang di talaga ako as invested to actually hone my skills in it. So, I guess yun yung biggest regret ko. It's not knowing myself well enough muna kung ano talaga yung gusto ko i-pursue. And halos yun lang naman yung regret ko when it comes to cooking. I guess sometimes yung regret ko rin is not listening to people. Kasi sabi ko, di ba, sometimes I can be stubborn with my own ideas. And sometimes nag-radiate rin siya when it comes to my home cooking. Kasi paminsan nagluluto rin ako sa bahay. Pero I've learned to adjust with that naman. Kasi paminsan kasi we want to do something. Like kunwari, sabihin natin, Singaporean style chili prawns. Yung kasi niluto ko kagabi. Pero I know na my parents don't really like spicy food or can't actually take the heat. So we need to tone that down a bit and take that into consideration. So we need to listen to other people's inputs rin. But of course, hindi naman lagi rin. So sometimes there are times that you need to trust yourself with. The difficulty comes with distinguishing which one should you follow. Should you follow yourself or should you follow other people's advice? But that's what makes it fun then.
So parang speaking of yung regrets, and yung mga previous purchases natin sa kitchen or yung mga talking about the quality of our ingredients, a question from Gideon goes, what is your parang favorite recent kitchen purchase? So, pwedeng ingredients, tools, or any under the sun. Ayun.
Okay. Again, as a home cook answer man ako. Yung favorite ingredient ko is, favorite na purchase ko na home equipment is actually yung quality non-stick pans. Like, promise. Dati kasi ginagamit namin lagi is yung mga cheap kind of non-stick pans, and it really makes a difference. Ang dali magasgas or ang dali masira pag hindi siya good quality. So recently, naka-purchase ako ng really good na non-stick pan. Changes your life. Easy yung cleaning. You don't need to put that much oil kasi it doesn't stick. And yun, simple joys lang. Nice quality non-stick pan and a wooden spoon kasi it looks nice when you're cooking with it. Yun yung top 2 kitchenwares na gusto ko.
Ako naman, yung most recent purchase ko, not necessarily favorite, pero I think matagal ko na din siya gusto bilhin, is nag-plate shopping ako para to actually plate yung dishes so that feel ko magagamit ko siya next time when it comes to taking good pictures of food, no? So, bumili ako ng different colors and designs of plates. Pero, kung sasabihin mo yung most favorite kitchen purchase ko, hands down, silicone molds. Like, gustong-gusto ko talaga ng silicone molds. I'm not sure kung nakikita niyo siya, yung Silicone Mart or yung mga paminsan mga iba-ibang shapes like mga half sphere molds. Kasi sobrang versatile talaga niya. You can bake in it. Like, for instance, you're making a cake, you can bake in it. O kaya, you can assemble small mousse cakes like what I do. I assemble small mousse cakes in them, then unmold them very cleanly without the hassle. And it's so cool kasi whenever you unmold them, then you see yung shape. Sobrang cute lang talaga and it's so cool. Tapos para sa akin, sa pastries, it's a very worth it investment. Kasi yun nga, it saves you the hassle to actually shape something. Tapos you can just add little details, no? To actually, para ma-pop mo pa yung design mo. Halos yun lang naman. Yung silicone molds talaga, hands down. Kasi whenever I go to baking supply shops rin, tapos normally wala naman ako kailangan bilhin ng ingredients. I just look at those talaga. Tapos tinitingnan ko lang, may bago bang design? Sabi ko, uy, ang ganda na to. Tapos pamisan yun, napapabili na ako. Kahit hindi naman kailangan. So,
Okay. So, down to our first, last few questions. So, we have a question here from Melissa. She asked na, what is the best or easy way to offer microgreens cooking to families and friends? So, ano naman tayo ngayon? How you guys experienced yung microgreens and how this can be relayed yung cooking to families and friends.
Okay. So for the Nama microgreens, actually when I tried it out, sobrang nakakatuwa siya because I really enjoy yung mga small greens when you top it off on something. I don't know if you guys ever tried yung mga like alfalfa sprouts kind of thing. I really enjoy like adding those things lang or simple ingredients adding to your cooking, and they make the dish like have a contrast in texture and flavor, and it works with a lot of things. So yung Nama microgreens was actually like that. For when I tried it out, super convenient lang when I'm cooking. Then when I'm serving the dish, you don't even need to cook it. Sometimes you can just top it off as a topping, and automatically it adds a lot of again, the crunch texture and a lot of essential micronutrients and fiber. So when I actually made my parents try, so syempre, a lot of parents, they're like very close-minded when it comes to eating healthier. Like, hindi din kailangan. Like, may ano naman tayo, may rice naman tayo, or whatever. I don't know. So when I actually made them try one of our Nama dishes, the wrap, sobra silang natuwa. They were like, it's so good. And they found it like, they didn't think of it as, equals healthy tasting. They were just like, oh, this is a really good wrap. So they got to eat healthier and enjoy it, which is what, again, I really like with what Nama is doing with this microgreens, is they're showing you that you can eat your veggies, you can eat healthy every day, and the food can actually taste really good. Like even with Adriel's um baking, he finds a way to incorporate like microgreens in it. So even if you say that, hey, that's just carbs, right? But at least it's better than having a carb that's just sugar, right? This time you can actually have some micronutrients in your sweets with some fiber pa. So yun, incorporating these little things and making your family enjoy it, then for sure it's gonna be a good thing in the long run.
So for me naman, to actually encourage people to try something new. Kasi regardless whether it be microgreens or some alien ingredient that they never encountered, you start with something that they understand or that they already know. So in my case, yung actually uh, yung red amaranth. So actually, yung kinakat siya, medyo pungent siya nun. Pero sabi ko, I think I can make use of this color and then transform it into a red velvet cake. And actually worked, no? And pag yung kinain namin, oh, it actually complements yung flavor ng cocoa when it comes to sa red velvet. Um, so yan lang rin, random trivia kung hindi nyo alam. Red velvet is actually just made from cocoa. Kaya siya red kasi traditionally daw, yung reaction daw nung cacao sa vinegar or something acidic is what makes it red. Pero we just add food coloring na lang to it to make it more vibrant. So anyways, yun yung sinasabi ko. Start by making something they understand. Um, yun din yung challenge eh. So for instance, before gumawa ako ng, kasi we know, di ba, that New Year is quite unhealthy. Like, okay, yung mga Christmas, kadalasan yung mga putahe natin medyo hindi siya healthy, like overloaded with fats, no? And kadalasan very, very low tayo in vegetable intake when it comes to those times. And that's bad kasi first, hindi natin nakikip yung colons natin healthy. Hindi natin na-maximize yung nutrient absorption natin kasi nga lack of fiber. So, what I did during that time is instead of an Alfredo lang, like yung typical cream-based sauce, I actually pureed yung cauliflower with cream and milk para to make the sauce. So that's one way to actually increase your vegetable intake. Ginawa ko rin recently is parang mac and cheese na instead na cheese yung base niya, which we know na kapag sobra rin, it's kind of bad kasi may trans fat rin siya. So, ginawa ko is gumawa ko ng mac and cheese na squash puree yung ginamit as a thickener instead of a roux. So that, again, you're subtracting fats, no? And mince ako ng arugula microgreens para at least ako complement na yung flavor, but it won't look as intimidating. And yung squash won't be as intimidating rin na kakainin mo lang siya as is kasi it looks like a mac and cheese pasta. So, yun yung mga some ways lang. By the way, hindi ko rin pala pwede i-claim na original ideas ko to kasi na-inspire lang ako sa pinapanood ko na Good Chef, Bad Chef, and Everyday Gourmet. So, yun lang rin. Yun din pala, just another tip, watch cooking shows. It really helps. Pero yun din, of course, it's better to actually have understanding and prior knowledge para at least when you watch cooking shows, tapos nun you see that they're doing something wrong, alam mo na hindi mo yung gagawin. Pero you can take these steps na parang, fundamental, or yung mga useful, like that. So yun, start by making something they understand, or something they already know. Tapos nun, mince it or grind it para at least hindi nila nakikita, pero nai-infuse yung flavor.
Okay, so down to our last question by Maria. Um, if meron ba kayong tips on how to make simple recipe look and taste special. So, I guess it would vary kung paano nyo i-define yung what's special and for whom. And I guess ano rin, um, it depends din kung paano nyo i-bring yung unique styles nyo. So, did anyone care to answer?
So for the what do you call it? Looking and presentable, tasting, etc. Yun yeah, the special occasions, like I super understand that. Sometimes when you wanna impress, let's say someone, let's say you're trying to ligaw, or let's say your parents, or any special occasion that you wanna cook for that special person, I understand it. You want to make it look presentable. So more than just a home cooking or tasting good, you want to make it look good. So yung first thing ko is I realized the what do you call it? Where it's served actually makes a really big impact on how it looks aesthetically, right? Sometimes if you put like let's say a cup of rice on a piece of plate versus a cup of rice on like a wooden, I don't know, wooden chopping board, something like that. The point is when you choose your plating, it actually already makes a big impact on that, right? The tasting special, just going back a quick thing, is again the process of how you cook it, right? So the process of cooking it, releasing the flavors, getting the most out of it, is what really highlights um, the flavor of the dish, making it taste special. You can taste the difference also. And the last one is usually what I like to do. This is like a sideline thing now. If I'm cooking for my parents and I want it to be special, I usually like to let's say the dish has a sauce. I like to pour the sauce or present the sauce on the table itself for them. So it looks again, it's like these extra things that it gives them a restaurant feel, even if it's a home cooked meal. So yeah.
I think for special, I guess depende siya sa tao na sinaserve mo. So, we know that cooking can be intimate or it's a way of communicating. And when it comes to, let's say, making the dish special, it depends on your audience. So, know your audience. So, for instance, you're cooking a meal for your family. I'm pretty sure that they'll treat, if you cook their favorite dish, they'll treat it as something special because that's your own interpretation of their favorite dish. So, it's already special in that way. Pero if you're talking about technique, or at least so I guess if you're talking about yung technicals, yun. If you're talking about the technicals, like of making it special, I would suggest, yeah, focusing on the technique. Like for instance, I think most people don't do that part. Like when it comes to making soups or stocks, the caramelizing of the bones first before actually pouring in the liquids. Most people don't do that, but it actually creates a lot of flavor. And ano pa yung next yung other part pa? May second part yung question eh.
So
Yung how to make it special and
look good. Yung
look good.
aesthetics. Yeah.
So I think yung look good, personally kasi my style of cooking is I want to do something that represents. So for instance, yung main flavor ko of this dish is apples. So I want it to resemble like a little apple. Or for instance, I want this dish to resemble like something else. I think I get inspired kasi when it comes to mga shapes ng silicone molds. Like for instance, this looks like yung mga stones no sa Zen garden. So of course, yung i-prepare mo ng flavors is yung mga ingredients that are actually earthy, grassy, that would remind them of it. So may times rin to actually make things more special or more beautiful. It's actually to take inspiration from something. Like, I want to bring my audience or my customers to Japan, or I want to bring my audience to France. So what makes that unique? So if you want going back to the special thing, you can take it further, no, by taking into account all the aspects of the dish. So from the texture, may crunch ba? So from the flavor, yung flavors ba reminiscent ba of, or tawag mo dito, does it signify the country na gusto mo i-emanate dun sa dish mo. So yung mga ganong simple things no, or simple thoughts. Yung making dish beautiful, agree ako dun kay Or, when it comes to plating, it really makes a big difference. Tapos nun, marami naman techniques eh. Like for instance, medyo rare lang rin kasi when it comes to our country, no, or our culture in general na we plate individually. Normally kasi we put big servings of food in the middle of the table tapos hati-hati lahat. As opposed to what we see in mga master chef, for instance, that they plate individual servings. So dun in that plate, meron ng carbohydrates, meron ng protein, and meron ng vegetables. Tapos may sauce na. Pero we don't do that kasi kadalasan eh. But if you want to do that, you can naman. Like, marami rin naman mga techniques eh, to make your plating look professional eh. Like yung pagsismear, pagsasplat, o kaya pagdodolop lang. Tapos nun, yun, a little goes a long way. Yun na yung matitip ko. Paminsan kasi we think na, dagdagan ko pa kaya nito, dagdagan ko pa kaya nito. Pero you're overdoing it na pala. To the point na parang hindi na siya appealing tignan.
Ayun. Okay, so on a lighter note, ano lang, tinatanong lang ni Miss Sol kung saan nabili ni Hinson yung non-stick pan niya.
Oh my gosh. So I actually had my dad order it. I just helped fund it. So he said he just got it online. I think it's available in Shopee. Pero minsan out of stock siya. So whichever online shopping platform you like, I think it's just there.
Siguro pwede natin ipa-send yung link para mabudol din.
Sana no, pwede. We can follow that up. Add nyo din ng wooden spoon wooden spoon. I promise, makes a difference.
All right. So, does anyone have any parang follow-up questions from our audience? Or sobrang loaded na tayo sa conversations about cooking, ingredients, kitchen, and so on. So if naman, so yeah, there. I guess we can conclude the panel discussion. I couldn't thank you enough, Adriel and Hinson, for the eye-opening exchange of ideas and tips, to how you shared your personal experience, and your journey to our audience today. And through time, you also learned yourselves firsthand and counted on the struggles to practice your crafts, and by sharing this to our audience today. So I'm sure that they've got fresh ideas on how they can start their journey, or even if they've started, they can get ideas, insights in parang cooking their healthy meals, or simply treating their ingredients right, and so on. And they all can also have that courage to start that healthy habit. So as we all know, the saying that all things that are worth don't come easy, as we've discussed a while ago with Lewis. So if you've liked what you've learned today, so just give a thumbs up on our chat, and feel free to reach out to Edri and Hinson by following them on their respective channels, like in Facebook, Instagram, or through our Facebook page in Nama Microgreens. And now then, to award the certificate of recognition to be given to our esteemed panelists, may I call on Skyrene to read the citations.
Thank you so much, Eldrin. Indeed, an eye-opening discussion from our panelists today. I hope our participants here got some fresh ideas and healthy tips that can be used in their daily lives. Ayan. So, to read the citation, this certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to Edriel D. for imparting his valuable insights and inspiration as a guest panelist during the Nama Chats episode 1 entitled How to Start Your Cooking Journey, given this 19th of September 2021 via Zoom. Signed by yours truly, Skyrene Bacalso and Eldrin Lee. Rather. Congratulations. Next, This certificate of recognition is hereby awarded to Hinson Orr for imparting his valuable insights and inspirations as a guest panelist during the Nama Chats, episode 1 entitled How to Start Your Cooking Journey, given this 19th of September 2021 via Zoom, signed by yours truly, Skydin Bacalso and Eldrin Lee. So congratulations, Hinson. Thank you very much, Hinson and Adriel. Ayan. Of
Congratulations,
course,
guys.
yes.
So,
Ayan. Of course, we will not let our first ever event become blunt because we have prepared special raffle prizes for you. At this part, 3 active participants will have a chance to get 30% discount on selected Nama microgreens products. So you may redeem your discount upon confirming your order. So yung winners are eligible to get 30% discount on Nama Grow Kit, microgreen tray set. So yung latest product launch natin. And then yung last is Nama Cut Microgreens. So ano pang hinihintay natin? Yan, let me share the okay. Wait a minute. Okay. Ayan. Can you see my screen po? Ayan. So again, yung winners po natin will have a chance to get 30% discount on selected Nama products. So first winner, we have Jocelyn Seeley. Ayan. Mukhang auntie nila Eldrin. Ayan. So yung next winner is Sigidon. Oops! Oh my God. Ayan, sorry. It's Jeffrey G. Tan. So Sir Jeff. Ayan. So we have 2 winners, Jocelyn Seeley and Mr. Jeffrey Tan. Ayan. For the last winner, raffle winner, we have okay. We have Melissa Panto. So, yan. Let me stop share my screen. Ayan. So, again, congratulations to all our winners. So, you may redeem your discount upon confirming your order. Just search Nama or Nama Microgreens on Facebook or Instagram. Then message your name together with your order. You may indicate your order that you are in your order that you are eligible for 30% discount. So thank you so much. Eldrin, the floor is yours.
Congratulations to our winners. So, as you all are familiar, Nama Chats is a series of conversations about cooking. And as we have partnered with our latest community of microambassadors, so like Hinton, and at the same time, acknowledging the presence of Sir Jeff, who's also a microambassador who recently joined us, at Nama, we aim to create a healthier community through microgreens as a superfood. So in our everyday meals as a family. So thus we are sharing our experiences and the expertise of microambassadors to guide everyone or those health conscious individuals to start their healthier journey. So to see the potential of microgreens in different dishes, from desserts made by Adriel, as shown a while ago, and wraps made by Hinson. As you can see in our Facebook page, stay tuned to our Facebook and Instagram pages to find out more. And once again, thank you so much for attending. So the
Ayan.
floor is
Okay.
yours, Sky.
So at this juncture, may we call on, let's have a group photo opportunity. So everyone is encouraged to open your camera. Ayan. So stop share ko muna. Ayan. So I'm encouraging everyone to open your camera and yan, wear your beautiful smile. Yan. Sige. Okay, we have 12 in the Zoom. And I think, sige. Okay. Sige. At the count of 3, wear your smile po. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Again. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much. So to close, thank you so much everyone. To close this event, I would like to express my appreciation to our panelists, Edriel and Hinson, for their valuable contribution to this event. So to our participants here today, thank you for your participation and for joining us at our first ever online event. So this would not be possible without your participation and support. Ayun. So as we all know, it has been like 2 years of survival and resiliency since the pandemic hit the Philippines. I mean, COVID-19 pandemic hit the Philippines. So this might change the way you see things, or from shifting our priorities down to changing our goals. Hence, there's no stopping us to pursue our passion or either your calling. So I hope this open space conversation has helped you to realize your passion or either your calling. So it's never too late or never too early to start working on your dreams, whether it is for cooking or being fit rather. Ayun. Again, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And I hope to see you at our next Nama Chats episode. Ayun. And that concludes our event for today. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Kyrene Bacalso, co-founder of Nama Microgreens.
And my name is Eldrin, founder and CEO of Nama Microgreens. Have a great day ahead. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.
Stay hydrated po. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye po.
Feel free to check out our page and reach out to us if you have any more questions. Ingat po.